5,000 years old.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, right.
Shut up. Well, you ruined a good set of drapes.
Perfect picture.
Okay.
Good set of drapes for him, Bosco.
Speak up, young man, speak up.
I saw those in The Sound of Music.
Smile or shit or what?
Okay, here we go. Cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger. One more, Joe. Where's the beef?
That's right from his wife. There's no flash. This is supposed to be a flash.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, how do we know?
Was that camera pointed at us?
No wonder in Willet's office.
Okay, Tom. So he's
Shut
done. Shut
up.
Friends. I was going to sue him.
Here we go.
There we go. You ready?
Advances. Put your hand in his
Better
mouth.
do it quick or we're going to have a
Come
funeral.
on. Hey. Come out here. My lungs can't take it.
Fresh air.
Fresh air. There is no air.
Your cell phone.
We done. Hang on, I gotta take a puff off my Pro Air.
The best part of this reunion, though, for me, is I've had these guys who have been my friends for 50 plus years, and we can meet in a minute and tell a story and everybody's laughing.
That's right.
Even if it is about Jim Sass. And Jim is going to tell us what he liked best about Don Bosco and also who his favorite teacher was.
My favorite teacher was Brother Eugene Solman. The man was a wonderful man, a saint. He knew how to drink and he knew how to smoke.
What about your favorite classes, Jim?
Chemistry and Latin too. And the guy who sat right next to me was almost as smart as I was. I got a 48 and he got a 49. And then we went to chemistry.
Did you correct your own test?
Yes, I did. So did he. And the next favorite class I had was chemistry. The guy next to me got a 48, I got a 49.
You were an outstanding student.
Yes, I was.
Tom Wongren. We've been friends for 60 years, and Tom's going to tell us a little bit about his life at Don Bosco.
All right, I had 4 very enjoyable years at Don Bosco. Probably the principal fondness I have of the school is the friends that I met during the 4 years. And this event tonight is a testament to that, to have these many fellas that are still together and friends from high school from that length of time.
This is the California connection, Wayne Wangecki. Good friend, and Wayne, we'd like to ask you, what were some of your experiences at Bosco? What do you remember? What do you like?
Okay. Well, Mr. Schrempf, remember he was the economics teacher? And he'd always go around the class and had a pile of change. And so one day I decided I'd take revenge. And I had my pockets loaded with a pile of change. And then I was introduced to Brother Willett. Brother Willett, the vice principal, the disciplinarian that kind of adopted me. And him and I became, well, he thought I was his buddy, but he kind of adopted me, and I spent a lot of time in his office.
And Tom was only at Don Bosco 1 year, but I'm curious to see what he thinks of it.
2 things I remember about Bosco. Number 1, laughter. I spent 3 years in a minor seminary and then transferred to Bosco into Homeroom 109 with Toby May, Tom Sager, and Bill Todrick. Now, Bill Todrick, the late Bill Todrick, was the John Belushi of our high school class. Actually, John Belushi was the Bill Todrick of Saturday Night Live, is what it comes down to. The other thing I remember is the great friendships I made. Met Bob Burke, who was best man at our wedding, and Jim Helmick, Mike Zimmer have been friends for life, very good friends. So I made, Bosco was a very important part of my life and still is.
I wasn't going to Bosco, I was going to Bayview, and I got a scholarship from the Holy Name. I was the only guy from St. Paul that went to Don Bosco. Got on the bus, went to the trolley, met Jimmy Matthews and Jim Helmick on 13th in Oklahoma, and they showed me where the school was because I couldn't find it.
Oh, I remember you, me, Jacob, George Lee. We were colleagues. Do you remember? We were iridescent raincoats. We were. The hats. We were. Popping into the basketball games. That was hot. We were cool. We are cool.
I remember I used to make those cartoons that they had there with, I used to go up there in that attic that they had up there and used a machine to blow them up bigger and make signs for the hallways there. And I can't remember which brother I worked for doing that. Probably my homebrew brother, but I can't remember that either. But I used to make them bigger, you know. I forget who that cartoons. I do picture that. I had a machine to blow them up, and then I trace them out on a piece of paper and color them. And we did that for something in the hallways and stuff like that. I can't remember what it was all about, but I remember that part of it.
Being in the Glee Club and then getting into the musicals at St. Mary's and Mercy.
Why did you like that so much?
Because there were girls at St. Mary's and Mercy.
This is one of our classmates. This guy was great. What are some of your fondest memories of Don Bosco?
Don Bosco? It was an all-boys school, which I really liked it. There was no nonsense in the school. Okay. The brothers were fantastic. They related to us very well. And the people who went to that school. In the beginning, the first year, I can remember a couple didn't fit, and they were out.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
Consequently, it was a big family after that.
You bet.
Yeah.
You bet. It was. It truly was.
What's your favorite memory of Don Bosco?
Probably the being chased by some of the brothers for smarting off in class.
Okay. My fondest memories is Todrick trying to bribe Brother Sullivan in the Passium in history with a 12-pack. That's number one.
All right, who is your favorite brother?
Charlie Sunte.
Oh, they were all great, but I guess Brother Charlie was one of my favorites.
Brother Charlie and the rosary bracelets.
There was no finer man than Brother Charlie.
Because he was kind and forgiving, and he was just a really nice man. I really liked Charlie.
I just felt akin to him. He was so calm, cool, and collective, and he had his little things going. He just made you really feel like you were part of the school, the whole gamut of it.
Brother Charlie?
He was good.
Yeah. You know how many guys said Brother Charlie?
You know what? I love Brother Charlie because I had to defend him because these kids, when I was a teacher there, they were so stupid they tried to pick on him. So Mr. Fever and I, we had a pact. We would rough up the kids that picked on Brother Charlie because the finest man I've ever met.
Some of the brothers, I always remember them too. I think we all remember Dan Sharp's famous way of tying his tie. And nobody ever did it like that, and nobody will ever do it again like that. But and of course, Leo Willett, the enforcer. I remember him. I never had a deal with him, fortunately. I was kind of in the shadows, so I didn't get in trouble with anybody. And then I didn't have to deal with Leo. I think that was his first name, right? Leo Willett?
Yeah.
So. And everybody loved Brother Osborne. I mean, the guy was just a great guy. He got along well with the kids.
I worked for Brother Willett in my senior year, and Brother Class and Brother Donovan were two other ones.
And Brother Nager, the Spanish teacher. Yeah, Ola. Yeah, he taught me all my Spanish.
You're pretty good at it.
Oh yeah.
I noticed.
Oh, that was not Spanish.
And of course, Brother Lang in the library, because I worked in the library for 4 years, so that was a lot of fun. And then, of course, I got to see Brother Willett a lot.
Well, that's two of us. How many rosary bracelets did you buy?
A lot. It was always a special occasion. He had a new rosary bracelet, and he'd say, "Mom would really love this." Just suck the kids in. But he was great. And I also liked the little popcorn he always kept in his pocket. They always got a bag of popcorn.
I like Brother Class. I like Brother Tower. I like Brother Charlie. There were quite a few of them that we liked, but I think Robert Class was my favorite because I had him for geometry, mechanical drawing, homeroom, plus the baseball coach. So.
And one other thing about Toby, May, and I, we were freshman football players. And Brother Donovan had told us when we played Pulaski that when we get a goal line situation, they wanted us to bring in the big guards. So Toby and I are out there in the mud and said, uh-oh, we're down here. So we run off the field and say, okay, bring in the big guards, bring in the big guards. And I think Lisowski or somebody was supposed to come in.
One of the things I remember is just sitting in the stands cheering you guys on a basketball court. I really enjoyed doing that. We had a great time, and watching some of the guy cheerleaders. We had that group of guys that did the crazy cheers.
Very supportive.
Going to football games. That was really great. Man, just good, getting to school in the morning was fun.
One of my better memories of high school days at Bosco was going to the sports events, especially football and basketball, because we were very lucky to have some superior athletes at that time. And I'll name the first one who will really appreciate hearing it again, and that would be Tom Sager, who was both a great basketball player as well as a football player, and there were many others as well. Dick Hurl, Barzak, Bujanovic, Longren. I could go on and name some more, but we were very gifted to have some great athletes.
One other thing on football. I came back after having a knee problem in my junior year, and I was trying to play again as a senior. I got to play in the first game at the kickoff team, and got the throat of the Beloit Catholic kickoff return, hit the guy head on, knocked the ball out, and that was, I felt, I'm back. One other thing, and then we were favored over Marquette that year. So where did we go? We went 48-6 down. And I remember an interception, and I'm in the back, in the offensive line, and the interception occurred. I had an angle on the guy coming down the field, but I wasn't very good at getting over to the other side. He went in for a touchdown, and that was the end of that. We did other games that were much better. Okay.
Tell me what you learned at Bosco that made you the fisherman you are.
I learned how to run a breakfast club.
Okay. Explain the breakfast club.
That's for guys like me that always came in late, told off the teachers, and didn't attend class. And you had to show up at 7 o'clock in the morning and do your homework.
Okay. Well, you never did.
No.
So, and he was the only guy, am I correct, was at Don Bosco, instead of being 4 years, he was there 11.
Yes, 11 years.
What do you attribute that to?
A lot of breakfast clubs. Failing to do homework, and even failing at summer school.
And he did a heck of a job of doing that.
Yes, I did.
Well,
look at where I am today.
Yes, where are you?
Tuckaway Country Club.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
The other thing I remember is you had a car, and you were taking me home on a 12th Street.
Yeah.
And you ran a stop sign, and this guy crashed into the side of his car, and he was guilty, but all of us jumped out and blamed it on the guy, and the cops blamed that guy. We got off scot-free.
I remember that. We had a car full of baseball players.
Yeah.
So, John, what you been doing since Bosco?
I spent as much time as I possibly could in college. I made that last as long as I possibly could.
That's great.
I got married. We've had 2 children, 2 boys, and I worked for 31 years for Ford Motor Company.
So, and you're still living in Michigan?
We currently live in Michigan. We moved around quite a bit with Ford Motor Company.
He called me up one day and he said, I'm going to get you in this school. It's audio-visual work for the Air Force, for pilots. I said, wonderful. I'll take it. I didn't even know what that meant. And it actually got into what you're doing here with the videography, got into filmmaking first, videography second, and then digital. So I've done that all my life. And retired at 65 from managing a digital factory here in Milwaukee. Great Lakes Media, it's called.
I think one of the first persons that come to my mind is my homeroom teacher. I think if he wasn't my homeroom teacher, he definitely was my business law teacher, George Harmon, I think his name was. He lit a fire in me when I took his business law course, and from that point on, I made my mind up, believe it or not, in high school that I wanted to be a lawyer, and that's a real envy for a lot of people to know what your career is going to be when you're only a sophomore in high school. But I was fortunate that I was exposed to it by brother George. He's a great guy.
Pat, how are you doing these days? Are you retired?
No, I still work.
Oh, you still work?
Yeah. It's been a work in progress. I've been married 49 years. I'll be 50 in January, and that's a lot of work.
We're working at your marriage every day. Okay.
Steve Reiner is one of my classmates. My brother's a horseman. Steve's a horseman. Steve lives in Las Vegas. Good guy from Don Bosco, and he's going to tell us a little bit about where he's been, what he's doing, and what's new.
Okay. I've spent probably 45 plus years in industry, about 25 in personnel. In 1980, I started in the horse racing industry, claiming a horse. Actually, I claimed it at Sportsman's Park in Chicago. And so I've been in that business, racing, breeding, and selling thoroughbreds since 1980, and made very little money at it, so I'm still working.
You don't think a horseman's life is as successful as it looks, huh?
No, it's not. No.
I am retired. I retired 7 years ago, and I do all kinds of stuff that seem to take up my day, and I don't know how I had time to go to work, and I'm sure that's what most retirees say, but
with that, yeah.
I spend a lot of time in the Knights of Columbus doing various fundraising projects. I'm in 2 golf leagues. I manage one league with my partner. I'm in another league where I'm a captain of a team and take care of the statistics. I go to Bible study. I'm a parish trustee, lector, community distributor, and then I got to take care of the house and the yard and all that kind of stuff.
So, what about what was your career path after leaving Bosco?
Oh, well, I went into the Army for 6 years as a cook, and I never got hungry or anything at all because I always had plenty of food, and I really enjoyed it. I mean, I went over as just a recruit over in Germany, spent almost 3 years there. They had that Berlin crisis or whatever they call it, and then they kept us over the additional time, and then I came back for about a year or something, 1.5 years, and went Fort Riley, Kansas, and then I went over to Thailand, which was my best time of my life. Neutral country over there. It was like my own business I was running over there. Big consolidated mess hall. I was in charge. I had my secretary, a driver, everything you could possibly want. It was like that I was in the Army at all. And I was going to stay there, but they made me go to, they said, if you're going to stay, you're going to have to go to Vietnam. And I said, no, I don't want to go there. So I came back and wound up working at G for a year, and then went to the post office and spent the rest of my life in the post office. And then I also worked for Aurora Health.
I'm a retired professor from Carroll University, and I've been retired for 4 years. That's that part of the adventure. And a great-grandparent, we can't forget that.
Well, that was going to be one of my questions, the children. How many do you have? And
four children, 2 grandchildren, and 1 great-granddaughter.
So, what about your career? What did you do when you were gainfully employed?
After college, I went to work in Illinois, and I became a sales manager for an import-export company. And I did that for 10 years, and then I went in on my own. I had my own company where we imported baskets, glassware, clay pots, you name it, I sold it. And I did that till I retired, actually. It just became too much traveling and stuff, but I enjoyed it.
I think it was a very rounded education, so it did prepare us. When I got out of high school, I did not know what I wanted to do, like probably most of us. Went to college for a year, didn't like that, dropped out. Joined the Milwaukee Fire Department. Spent 30 years on the fire department. Somewhere when I was on the fire department, I went out to school at Nashotah House Seminary. You know that. I'm an ordained chaplain in the Episcopal Church. And I volunteered / get paid once in a while at Waukesha Memorial. but I'm also the chaplain for Flight for Life and Waukesha County Fire Chiefs Association. I keep pretty busy, in other words.
And do you think that your years that Don Bosco prepared you for your career path? I know you was a college professor, but...
Very well. And the older I got, the more I appreciated that preparation. You know, without trying to do all the details, we had a very, very supportive faculty, and they were full of encouragement. And I don't know where I would have been without them. I don't know how far I could have gone had I not had the experience at that particular school, because I was on track to be a terrible student.
How did Don Bosco influence your career path? Are you out of your mind?
I can't say that it led to a career path, because I went through 4 years of high school and 4 years of college and 3 years in the service. I still didn't know what I wanted to do, but we met the friends. Actually, I met my wife, obviously not at the school, but because of the school, and along with Tom's wife and several others, we had many fond memories, many fond times together.
Dennis, what did you enjoy about Bosco?
Oh, everything. I mean, you couldn't have more fun in a high school, and the education you got, the comradeship, the teamwork, the brothers. I mean, the whole gamut. It was just outstanding.
Here's what I love about Don Bosco. People have spirit. Very few people show their spirit. Don Bosco has a spirit that's in my heart that I love. I love my players, I love my classmates, and most of all, I love the fact that we're still together after 55 friggin' years.
And that's something.
How often does anyone have a chance to talk to a friend for 55 years?
That's true.